To close off this week's discussion, I wanted to analyze one more aspect of the interior of San Vitale. And a couple of people in discussion alluded to this. Andres writes, all the intricacy and fine details, especially if I was personally standing beneath them, would make me feel overwhelmed. The columns lead you to the decorations above, which capture your eye, making you lost watching above, like if you are raising your eyes to the heavens, connecting you to the unreachable divine. Similarly, Rhonda writes, the amount of light coming in and reflecting off the decor, giving it an ethereal beauty. The reflections from candlelight must have felt overworldly and given life to the scenes, which makes sense as that was a function of Byzantine art, a spiritual experience. What Andres and Rhonda touch on is just the amount of decoration in this building and the way the architecture itself might affect the viewer. We oftentimes, with these late antique Byzantine and medieval churches, we oftentimes speak about an immateriality where the physical aspect of the church dissolves underneath all of this decoration. And what I mean by decoration is the mosaics that the video talked about. I think a couple people, I think it might have been Kathleen, mentioned the decorative marble here. That's another kind of decoration. And the architecture itself, the video mentions how these columns thrust upwards and how these sorts of arched bays kind of dance around or march around or move around the church. All of these things make it very difficult for your eye to focus. Even in this image here in front of you, it's probably pretty hard to kind of take one part and your eyes constantly moving about, trying to capture the whole thing. And that's kind of the purpose here, to create something which is difficult or kind of disorients you, suggests an otherworldly or an irrational or a space that isn't of this rational world. And of course, that's the purpose of these churches, is to make you feel like you're part of the divine or that you're closer to the divine, something that doesn't really have a place in our material existence. You might feel overwhelmed or displaced, or as Rhonda mentions, as if you were in another world kind of space or an ethereal kind of space as your body loses track of where it's supposed to be. There are two brief assignments this week dealing with the art of Islam. The first assignment is a sort of scavenger hunt where I'm asking you to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Heilbronn Timeline of Art History. And here's the link for you right here. And you're going to find some artworks that display calligraphic, vegetal, and geometric patterning. And these links here will take you to brief essays that explain what those things are. These three things are dominant elements of Islamic art. So you're going to be looking for those things in some of the museum's collection of artworks. The next assignment asks you to become familiar with a couple of the architectural or several architectural elements for Islamic architecture. Here are the elements right here. You will read about these things in your text. And then I want you to go to Pixabay. I've given you the link here and look at their collection of mosque photographs. And I want you to find examples of each of these architectural elements in a photograph. You will have 7 different photographs. You can't use the same photograph for 2 different elements. You'll have 7 different photographs, and each one should illustrate one of those architectural elements. I'm asking you to also to use some sort of imaging software to circle the elements so you can know exactly where you're pointing to. Again, these are very brief. It shouldn't take you very long to do this. If you have any questions about the assignment or about San Vitale, please send me a message or give me a phone call at 602-790-9486. Have a great week.